A woman, Isabel, mid-30s, elegant, poised, stands by the window, looking out. The reflection of a man, James, late 30s, rugged, confident, appears in the glass as he approaches her. "James, you're thinking about leaving, aren't you?" "Isabel, softly, I have to." She turns, eyes filled with a mixture of longing and sorrow. James watches her carefully, as if memorizing her every detail. "James, you don't have to do anything. Not tonight." "Isabel, James, you know this isn't just about us. We don't live in a world where love is enough." James scoffs. "Who decided that?" Isabel sighs, stepping away from him. She picks up her glass and takes a slow sip, as if buying time. "Isabel, my family. My obligations. My—" "James, your arranged marriage. To a man you don't love." Silence stretches between them. Isabel lowers her gaze. James steps closer, voice softer now. "James, we steal these moments, but we never talk about what happens after. What if I don't want to be your secret anymore?" Isabel whispers, "What do you want me to say?" James, say you'll stay. Say you'll choose me. Isabel closes her eyes, struggling against herself. She wants to say it, but reality presses in on her. "Isabel, James, if I stay, it'll ruin everything. James, or it might save you." She looks up at him, vulnerability in her eyes. He steps forward, slowly, hesitating just before touching her. She doesn't move away. "James, tell me you don't love me, and I'll let you go." Isabel opens her mouth, but no words come. Instead, she surges forward, pressing her lips to his. The kiss is desperate, a collision of passion and heartbreak. When they part, breathless, her eyes glisten with unshed tears. "Isabel, I can't say it, but I also can't stay." James nods, jaw clenched. He turns away, running a hand through his hair. Isabel watches him, as if already memorizing what she'll be leaving behind. A knock on the door. The sound freezes them both. Isabel whispers it's him. James' eyes darken. He takes a step back, a bitter smile playing on his lips. "James, then I guess this is goodbye." Isabel lingers for a moment, then forces herself toward the door. Before she opens it, she looks back one last time. "Isabel, I will always love you." James nods, but says nothing. Isabel inhales sharply, steels herself, and opens the door to reveal a sharply dressed man, William, mid-40s, composed, authoritative. He scans the room briefly, gaze settling on James before turning to Isabel. "William, it's time to go." Isabel nods, stepping out into the hallway. The door closes behind her with a soft click, leaving James alone in the room. He exhales sharply, running a hand down his face before pouring himself another glass of wine. James stands motionless for a long moment, staring at the closed door. The silence in the room feels heavier now, pressing in around him. He lifts the glass of wine to his lips, but stops midway, setting it down instead. Drinking won't dull this ache. His jaw tightens as he paces to the window, watching the street below. A black luxury car waits at the curb. Isabel steps out of the hotel, William close behind her. James clenches his fists at his sides as he watches William place a firm hand on the small of Isabel's back, guiding her toward the car. For a second, just a second, Isabel hesitates before getting in. She turns her head, almost as if she can feel James watching from above. Their eyes don't meet, but he sees it in the way her shoulders rise and fall in a deep breath, the weight of a decision she can't undo. And then she's gone. James exhales sharply, slamming a fist against the window frame. He's been a fool to think she'd stay. Love is never enough, not in her world. But damn it, he isn't ready to let her go. His phone buzzes on the table. He glances at it, expecting another meaningless notification, but when he sees the name on the screen, his stomach tightens. Unknown number. A message flashes beneath it. "Meet me at the train station. Midnight. Alone." His pulse quickens. There's only one person it could be. Without hesitation, James grabs his jacket, throws some cash on the table, and strides toward the door. If Isabel is willing to take a risk, he won't let her do it alone. The station is nearly empty, its vast, arched ceiling echoing with the occasional announcement. Dim fluorescent lights flicker overhead, casting a cold glow over the platforms. A thin mist hangs in the air, the remnants of an earlier rainstorm. James moves through the space, hands in his pockets, scanning every shadow. His heart pounds not with fear, but with something worse. Hope. A train idles on the far platform, its engines humming softly. Midnight departures. The kind of trains people take when they want to disappear. Then he sees her. Isabel stands near the edge of the platform, hood drawn over her head, a small suitcase at her feet. She's turned slightly away, arms wrapped around herself. When she hears his footsteps, she stiffens but doesn't turn. "James." Softly, "You came." She lets out a shaky breath before facing him. Her eyes are guarded, but there's something else beneath it, something fragile. "Isabel, I don't have much time. William thinks I'm asleep." James steps closer, his voice steady but low. "James, tell me what's going on. This isn't just about us, is it?" She hesitates. For a moment, it looks like she might lie, but then she sighs. "Isabel, no, it's not." She glances around, lowering her voice. "Isabel, William isn't just my fiancé. He works for my father. He knows things, James. Dangerous things. I overheard something I wasn't supposed to. Now, I don't think I'll make it to the wedding at all." James' stomach tightens. "James, you think he's going to kill you?" Isabel doesn't answer. She doesn't have to. "James." "Then why the hell are we standing here? Let's go. Right now." But she shakes her head. "Isabel, it's not that simple. He's watching everything. My accounts, my phone, he'll find me if I just run. I need a way out. A real way out." James exhales, running a hand through his hair. "James, then we do this, right? New IDs, cash, somewhere far from here. But you have to trust me." She looks up at him then, really looks at him, and something in her expression softens. "Isabel." "I do." A beat of silence. The train doors hiss as they open, an automated voice announcing final boarding. "James, if we get on that train, there's no going back." "Isabel, there's nothing to go back to." James nods, reaching down to grab her suitcase. "James, then let's disappear." She exhales, relief and fear battling in her expression, before stepping onto the train. James follows. The doors slide shut behind them. Outside, in the shadows of the station, a figure watches. A phone screen illuminates a sharp jawline, narrowed eyes. "William." His grip tightens on the device before he dials a number. "William." Into phone they're running. "Find them." The train pulls away, carrying Isabel and James into the unknown. James shuts the compartment door behind them and exhales, pressing his back against it. The space is small, just two seats facing each other and a fold-out bunk overhead. Isabel sets her suitcase down, then sinks onto the seat, rubbing her temples. "James, we're safe. For now." "Isabel, you don't believe that." James watches her carefully, his mind racing. He doesn't. William is too powerful, too connected. He won't just let her go. "James, it buys us time. That's enough for now." Isabel nods, but her fingers fidget in her lap. James kneels in front of her, gently placing his hands over hers. "James, hey, we're gonna figure this out." She searches his face as if trying to believe him, then exhales a shaky breath. "Isabel, there's something else." James tenses. "James, what?" "Isabel, before I left, I took something from William's office. Something dangerous." She reaches into her coat, pulling out a slim, black flash drive. James stares at it, then back at her. "James." "Isabel, what did you do?" "Isabel, I overheard William talking about an offshore account. He and my father, there's money, a lot of it, tied to things I don't even want to understand. If I disappear without a trace, they won't stop looking for me. But if I have this, I have leverage." James runs a hand down his face. "James." "Jesus. You stole evidence from the most dangerous man you know?" "Isabel, I didn't have a choice." A sharp knock at the compartment door makes them both freeze. James slowly reaches for the small knife hidden in his boot. Isabel grips the flash drive tighter. Ticket check. James exhales, sharing a look with Isabel before cracking the door open. A uniformed conductor stands outside, clipboard in hand. James. Yeah. 1 second. He pulls the tickets from his jacket pocket, ones he paid cash for at the station. The conductor barely glances at them before nodding and moving on. James shuts the door again, locking it this time. Isabel lets out a breath of relief.
Isabel.
We can't keep running forever.
James.
Then we don't. She looks at him, confused.
James.
We stop running, and we start fighting back.
A beat.
Then, for the first time that night, Isabel lets the smallest hint of a smile play at her lips.
Isabel.
You always did love impossible odds. James smirks, pulling out his phone.
James.
Good thing I know a guy who loves them even more. He dials a number. It rings twice before a deep voice answers. I was wondering when you'd call. James glances at Isabel, then back at the window, watching the dark landscape rush by.
James.
We need a way out, and we need to bring someone down. The voice on the other end chuckles. Well then, let's make some trouble. The train slows as it pulls into a quiet, fog-covered station on the outskirts of a small European town. A few early commuters step onto the platform, their breaths visible in the cold morning air. James and Isabel wait near the exit, keeping their heads low. Isabel clutches the flash drive in her coat pocket like a lifeline.
James.
We stick to the plan. My contact is waiting for us outside. Isabel. And you trust him?
James.
With my life. Isabel exhales, nodding. A nondescript black SUV is parked outside a shuttered cafe. Inside, a man waits at a table by the window. His dark eyes flick between the street and his phone. This is Nick Calloway, 40s, ex-intelligence, sharp-witted. As James and Isabel enter, Nick leans back, smirking.
Nick. Well.
Look who finally decided to need my help. James.
Cut the sarcasm, Nick.
We don't have time. Nick glances at Isabel, then back at James.
Nick.
And this must be the reason you're being hunted by half the underworld. Isabel tenses, but Nick just chuckles. Nick. Relax, sweetheart. I don't bite. James slides the flash drive across the table.
James. We need to know what's on this. Now.
Nick picks it up, raising an eyebrow.
Nick.
And if I say no?
James.
Then I remind you about that little incident in Prague. Nick sighs, shaking his head.
Nick. Fine.
But you owe me a drink after this. He pulls a laptop from his bag and plugs in the drive. A moment later, a series of encrypted files flood the screen. Nick's smirk fades as he starts reading. Nick. Holy hell. Isabel.
What?
Nick turns the screen toward them.
Nick.
Your fiancé and your father? They're not just hiding money. They're running entire arms deals through shell companies. These aren't just bribes and offshore accounts, this is treason-level stuff. James leans in, his jaw tightening. James.
Can we use it?
Nick's fingers fly over the keyboard.
Nick.
It's heavily encrypted, but I can crack it. Problem is, once I do, they'll know someone has their files. Isabel. Then we need to move fast. Nick nods. Nick. I'll need a few hours. And a secure location. James stands.
James.
I know a place, but we need to stay ahead of William. He won't stop until he gets this back. Nick smirks.
Nick.
Then let's make sure he doesn't. As they prepare to leave, none of them notice the figure across the street watching from a parked car. A phone screen glows in the dim light. William. Into phone, they've made contact. Move in. The streets remain quiet, but there's an eerie stillness in the air. James senses at first the prickle at the back of his neck, the instinct honed from years of survival. James. Low, urgent. We need to go.
Now.
Nick glances up from his laptop, frowning. Nick. I'm almost through the encryption.
James. No time.
They found us. Isabel stiffens, following James' gaze out the fogged-up window. A black sedan idles at the end of the street. Another pulls up behind it.
Isabel.
Whispers William.
James.
Gritted move. Nick slams his laptop shut, shoving it into his bag as James yanks Isabel toward the back door.
James, this way.
They sprint toward the chain-link fence bordering the tracks. Nick lags a step behind, cursing under his breath. Nick, I don't run before coffee. Damn it. From behind them, gunfire. A bullet slams into the brick wall beside Isabel's head, spraying dust. She gasps, ducking as James yanks her forward. James spins, gun drawn. From the alley entrance, two men in dark suits advance, weapons raised.
James, go.
Nick scrambles up the fence, hauling himself over with more agility than expected. Isabel follows, her breath ragged. James fires 2 shots, forcing their pursuers to duck for cover, before grabbing the top of the fence and pulling himself over. The moment his feet hit the ground on the other side, tires screech. A black SUV barrels toward them down the empty service road. William is behind the wheel. The distant sound of an approaching train rumbles through the ground. James doesn't hesitate. He grabs Isabel's hand and runs.
James.
We have to reach the tracks. William's SUV closes in, headlights cutting through the early morning fog.
Nick.
Tell me you have a plan. James' eyes lock onto the train, slow-moving, cargo-filled, but they're only shot.
James.
We jump. Isabel.
What? James.
You trust me? She hesitates only for a second before nodding. James grabs her waist, timing it. The train passes closer, closer. James hoists Isabel up first. Nick leaps next, barely catching hold of the metal rungs. James turns. William's SUV is almost on him. William locks eyes with him through the windshield. A silent promise. This isn't over. James smirks, then leaps onto the train. The SUV skids to a stop as James pulls himself onto the moving freight car. William steps out, watching as the train disappears into the distance. His phone buzzes. William. Into phone. Activate the next step. I want them found. He hangs up, eyes dark with fury. James pulls Isabel into the relative safety of an open cargo container. Nick collapses against a wooden crate, panting.
Nick.
Next time, maybe less running? James grins, breathless. James. Where's the fun in that? Isabel watches James, something unreadable in her expression. He notices.
James. What?
Isabel. Softly. You didn't hesitate. You came after me. James steps closer, brushing a stray lock of hair from her face. James. I always will. For a moment, the world is just them, heartbeat against heartbeat. Then Nick groans, pulling his laptop back out.
Nick.
As touching as this is, we still have a problem. He taps the screen. The files on the flash drive are now fully decrypted.
Nick.
And you're not gonna like what I found. James and Isabel exchange a look. Isabel. How bad? Nick exhales, grim. Nick. This isn't just about your father and William. This goes higher. Much higher. James clenches his jaw. James. Then we bring it all down. The train has long since passed, leaving James, Isabel, and Nick at a rundown warehouse on the outskirts of a forgotten industrial town. The wind howls through broken windows, rattling old metal beams. Inside, Nick hunches over his laptop, eyes glued to the decrypted files. Isabel paces near a rusted desk, gripping the flash drive tightly. James stands near the entrance, keeping watch. Nick, scoffing. Well, I've seen some corrupt bastards in my time, but this is next level. James turns, stepping closer. James.
Tell me.
Nick rubs his face, then spins the laptop toward them. On the screen, bank transfers, weapon shipments, names of high-ranking officials. Nick. Your father and William aren't just laundering money. They're running a global black market weapons syndicate. Military-grade arms, smuggled through fake charities and offshore fronts. Isabel exhales sharply, gripping the edge of the desk. Isabel. My father, he always told me business was ruthless. I just never imagined this. James studies the names on the screen. One in particular makes his stomach turn. James. Quietly. This isn't just about your family. Isabel looks at him, confused. James. I know one of these names. Robert Sinclair. Nick glances at James, eyebrows raised. Nick. Sinclair? The former Secretary of Defense? James nods, jaw clenched. James. Yeah. And if he's involved, this is bigger than just William. We're talking about government officials elected, appointed, all with their hands in the pot. Isabel sinks into the chair, running a hand through her hair.
Isabel.
If this goes public,
James.
it could take down an entire network. A heavy silence settles between them. Nick finally leans back, arms crossed. Nick.
All right.
We've got the proof. But now comes the fun part, not getting killed before we can use it. James exhales, thinking.
James.
We need a direct line to someone who can actually expose this. Someone outside of William's reach. Nick smirks. Nick. Lucky for you, I know just the guy. A dimly lit basement, cluttered with tech. Old monitors and half-eaten takeout containers. Screens flicker with government databases, financial records, and encrypted chats. A chair spins, revealing Cashin Reyes, 30s, genius hacker, morally flexible. He grins as he cracks his knuckles. Cashin. Well, well. If it isn't my favorite troublemakers. James folds his arms. James. We need your help. Cashin glances at Nick, then Isabel, before whistling.
Cashin.
And here I thought Nick was the reckless one. All right. What are we working with? Nick slides the laptop onto Cashin's desk. Nick. Weapons trafficking, high-profile corruption, and enough dirty money to fund a small war. Cashin's eyes widen as he scrolls through the files. Cashin. Holy yeah, okay, this is nuclear. If this drops, governments will fall. People will be running for their lives. Isabel.
Can you get it out?
Cashin exhales, tapping a pen against his desk. Cashin. I can, but here's the problem. William's people are already hunting you. The moment I start leaking this, every digital watchdog in the world will be onto us. James nods.
James.
Then we'll have to draw their attention somewhere else first. Nick raises an eyebrow.
Nick.
You thinking what I think you're thinking? James smirks.
James.
We give them a bigger problem to chase. Cashin leans forward, intrigued.
Cashin.
Oh, I like this plan already. Isabel, what do you have in mind? James turns to Cashin. James. How fast can you make it look like William's accounts have been hacked? Cashin grins.
Cashin.
You're talking to the best, my friend. Give me 20 minutes. A luxury high-rise overlooking the city. Inside, William stands in his office, sipping whiskey as he watches the skyline. His phone buzzes. William. Into phone.
Speak.
On the other end, a panicked voice. Agent. Sir, someone just breached our financial networks. Offshore accounts are showing unauthorized transactions. They're making it look like you're moving money. William's grip on his glass tightens. William. Find them.
Now.
His eyes darken. This wasn't just an attack. It was a distraction. And he knows exactly who's behind it. William. Into phone. They're coming for me. So now we go for them. Cashin's fingers fly across the keyboard. Nick watches over his shoulder, impressed. Nick. You weren't kidding. Cashin smirks.
Cashin. Told you.
James checks his gun, glancing at Isabel.
James.
The moment we go fully public, William won't just be hunting us, he'll be desperate. He'll make a move. Isabel nods, determined.
Isabel.
Then let's make sure it's his last. A notification pings on Cashin's screen. His grin widens. Cashin. Oh, he's pissed. His security teams are scrambling. We've got a window. Maybe 6 hours before he figures out where we are. James nods.
James.
Then we take the fight to him. The room hums with tension. Tomorrow it ends. The city is still, but there's an underlying tension in the air. James, Isabel, Nick, and Cashin stand in the shadows of an abandoned warehouse, their breaths visible in the cold. Cashin is set up inside a van, screens glowing as he monitors digital activity. Cashin. All right, our little financial nuke has William's people scrambling. He's pulling all his forces back to his penthouse exactly where we want him. Nick loads his gun, shaking his head. Nick. Something about this feels too easy. William's smart. He knows we're coming. James nods.
James.
That's why we don't go in through the front door.
Isabel.
Then how? James smirks.
James.
We make him think he's won. The penthouse is dimly lit, sleek, and modern. William stands by the window, staring at the city. Behind him, armed men stand ready. A phone rings. One of his security officers answers, nods, and hands it to him. William.
Into phone, speak.
There's a pause. Then Isabel's voice. Isabel. It's over. William turns slightly, interest-piqued. William.
Isabel. Isabel.
I have the flash drive. And I want out. But I need your help. A small smile creeps across William's face. William. Interesting. And where are you? Isabel. At the old docks. No tricks. Just come alone. William exchanges a glance with his head of security. The man nods, already signaling his team. William. Alone, of course. He hangs up. Then he smiles. He doesn't believe her. Not for a second. But that doesn't mean he won't play along. Fog rolls over the quiet docks. Isabel stands near the edge, arms wrapped around herself. James is hidden in the shadows, watching through the scope of a rifle. Nick and Cashin are parked nearby, intercepting William's communications. Cashin's screen lights up multiple vehicles inbound. Cashin.
Yeah, called it.
He's bringing a small army. Nick cracks his knuckles.
Nick.
Then, let's welcome them properly. Black SUVs pull up. William steps out, flanked by bodyguards. William. To Isabel. Brave of you to call me. Stupid, but brave. Isabel doesn't flinch. Isabel. I know when I've lost. You win. She pulls the flash drive from her coat, holding it up. William watches her carefully, then gestures for one of his men to take it. Isabel. One condition. You let James go. William chuckles. William. Oh, Isabel. James isn't leaving here alive. And neither are you. Isabel's jaw tightens. Isabel. That's what I thought. Then a loud explosion. The SUV behind William bursts into flames. His men scramble, weapons drawn. From the rooftops, James opens fire. Nick and Cashin's EMP device activates, knocking out all communications. William growls, grabbing Isabel's arm, but she's faster. She twists free, elbowing him in the ribs before grabbing a gun from a fallen guard. James. It ends tonight. William smirks, pulling out a gun. William. I couldn't agree more. James and William circle each other. The sounds of gunfire fade as the fight narrows down to them. William lunges first, but James is faster. A brutal fight ensues, fists, gunshots, sheer desperation. William pulls a knife, slashing James across the arm. James grits his teeth, countering with a hard punch that sends William sprawling. Isabel. James. She tosses him a gun. William scrambles for his weapon, but James already has him in his sights. A long beat. James could end it. Right here. But instead, he lowers the gun. James. You're going to answer for everything you've done. William laughs, bloody and furious. William. You think prison can hold me? James smirks. James. Not prison. The world. Nick and Cashin send the files out. Every piece of evidence goes public. Corruption exposed. Names revealed. William's empire collapses in real time. Sirens wail in the distance. William's face darkens as he realizes he's lost. James and Isabel stand on a rooftop, watching as William is taken into custody. Isabel exhales, still processing. Isabel. It's over. James looks at her. James. For them. Not for us. She turns to him, searching his eyes. Isabel. What now? James smirks. James. We disappear. Nick and Cashin pull up in a car below, waiting. Isabel takes one last look at the city, her old life, then turns to James. Isabel. Together? James nods. They clasp hands, a silent promise. Then they vanish into the morning light.